call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Pod at the Palace Postgame Report Card presented by SARACEN, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. I'm your host, Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas, here to grade out Arkansas's 89-80 win over number 6 Louisville. What up, Coffee Club? How we feeling this morning? I'm guessing pretty good. Those first sips in the morning are probably hitting a little bit different. When were you able to wind down after a game like that at Bud Walton Arena? Excitement, feels good, turkey trotting around a little bit. I'm recording this a little after midnight on Wednesday, and I don't feel like I have any signs of slowing down just yet. So we'll see what the night looks like. I will be having a coffee in the morning, though. You can guarantee it. Hey, just a massive signature win for the Hogs, right? I mean, it gives this team the validation that it needed. They've kind of passed the eye test for the most part, outside of just a couple stretches in these 2 losses that they've had. Respect earned. Well done by the Razorbacks. How much fun was that? Seriously. I mean, first, how about we're doing our report card here. How about a grade for Bud Walton Arena? A, right? I mean, Razorback fans, you kind of got challenged a little bit, but you answered the bell. You showed up, you showed out. The atmosphere was awesome. A great college basketball environment. I had a blast in there. And hey, even though John Calipari yelled at you for doing the overrated chant that you should never do, hey, major shout out to the students. There were as many students in Bud Walton Arena as I've seen in a long, long time. So well done across the board, honestly. Shout out to Ryan Silverfield for getting out there and getting people fired up. But you could really see how the team fed off of the energy from the crowd at Bud Walton Arena. And that's what it's all about. Louisville's Pat Kelsey, their coach, he said that he felt like the crowd really had an impact on the game. That's what you like to hear as a fan. You kind of take a little bit of ownership for a dub when you hear the coach saying, yeah, man, the crowd got to us. That's good stuff right there, my friends. Well done. More big games to come, too. Folks, Arkansas never trailed in this basketball game. Think about that for a minute. Arkansas was never down. They led this game for 39 minutes and 30 seconds. From the moment Trevin Brazile hit that free throw, 30 seconds into the game, Arkansas was never behind. This is against a top 10 team. This is against a top 5 offense in the country. So this will be an easy report card coming off a feel-good night here in Fayetteville. But if you really look at it, and this is what's interesting to me about it, as I almost knocked my computer off of off of my desk here. I'm so excited. I'm throwing stuff around. But if you really think about it, Arkansas left some meat on the bone. And what I'm saying is you just beat a Final Four contender. Maybe you're one yourself. We'll see how the season plays out here. But you did it pretty thoroughly, and there's still room for improvement. And there's still certain things you look at from this game and go, wow, Arkansas could have been better here or there. And there's still another level that this group can get to. So a solid night at the office for the fellas. This is a major step in the right direction, a huge resume win. I'm pumped. You can't tell me nothing. What Arkansas did to Louisville tonight, what Louisville did to Kentucky in that game a couple weeks ago. Controlled them from start to finish, got up 20 on them, and outside of a little run here and there, it was belt ass. Nicely done. At any rate, today's episode of the Pod to Palace is presented by our friends over at Drain Masters of Arkansas. You know that they're officially licensed in plumbing and drain cleaning while serving the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, Oklahoma, and beyond. They're ready to handle all plumbing and drain cleaning needs with professional, reliable service. To request a service, give them a call today. The number is 479-646-5585. You can scan that QR code on your screen as well. Be sure to tell them that Inside Arkansas sent you and get 10% off all their services. Anything and everything plumbing related, no job is too big or too small. Drain Masters of Arkansas has you covered. Y'all see Pat Kelsey was getting mad at, was it him and Chuck Martin were going at it in the oh man. What a fun game. I can't get over how much fun I had there. And I keep saying that word, fun. That's because it was. And frankly, it hasn't been for a while there. The regular season finale against Mississippi State last year was a really good game. and a good atmosphere. But, we've just talked about it so much early in the season, and I'm not going to do the Toby Keith thing, like, oh, not as good as you once were, but you're as good once as you ever were. It's not that. It's not that at all. But the first opportunity where it really mattered what the atmosphere was like in there, Razorback fans showed up in droves, and it turned out to be awesome. So, now I'm looking forward to the Tennessee game, to open SEC play, and obviously when you get Kentucky coming in there and Auburn coming in, and so many other big games there, and that's the kind of stuff you look forward to, getting down to the arena for something like that. Okay, as always, we'll start with the team grades, and then we'll get to the player stuff. But really, I mean, just in terms of the win itself, this is an A+. How could it be anything other than that? I mean, it's a quad 1A victory, the highest value win you can get. If you're wondering what that is, like a quad 1 win is a team over a top 30 net at home, and a quad 1A is a top 15, and that's what you just did there. The only thing that could have made it sweeter is, I guess, if you did it on the road, but you were projected to lose by anywhere between 3 and 7 points, depending on where you look, KenPom or BPI. And you wound up winning, not only winning, you won by 9. So this is going to boost the metrics for Arkansas, gives you that resume win, a lot of good stuff here. And really, when we talk about the eye test and style points and stuff like that, Louisville has been one of the national darlings so far this season. People love them, and rightfully so. I mean, they're really good. They're talented. They're fun to watch. That was a really entertaining basketball game. But Arkansas, this helps them earn quite a bit of respect that they haven't been afforded so far. That's good. Also, I kind of feel like we're maybe the swing vote. Does that make sense? At least I'm choosing to believe that for this SEC ACC challenge, because the Razorbacks get this win. You look up at the end of the night, and the SEC winds up winning this challenge over the ACC 9-7. And I did the predictions Monday before it started, and I said 10-6. I'm trying to think. The one that I missed was Ole Miss, I think. Might have been the difference there. I think I had them winning and they lost. Whatever. Anyway, to win it 9-7 after being down 3-6 on Tuesday. So shout out to the Razorbacks. Shout out to Bama and Auburn, LSU, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. All those teams took care of business on Wednesday night, and you reigned supreme. Just not as emphatically as last year when it was 14-2. Okay. Offense for Arkansas. Listen, I'm going to give them a solid A- for this one. Scoring 89 points. Let me pull up the box scores. You guys can look at it while I sit up here and yap. But truly, I mean, scoring 89 points in a game like this, that's absolutely A-worthy. Arkansas did a tremendous job. Some of the stuff that we talked about in the pregame of, well, you know how many threes Louisville shoots. We'll talk about Arkansas's defense in a minute, but how can you counteract that? Like, does Arkansas need to try to match them from 3? Probably not. They've got some firepower out there, but I don't know if that's the best formula for Arkansas. So it's like, okay, where can you pick up in other areas? Can you dominate the paint? Can you dominate free throws? Maybe. Arkansas found a couple different spots there to get it done. And they did a great job of getting to the foul line and not settling for a lot of bad shots. There was some shot selection stuff here and there, but you got to the line 35 times. You made 27 of them. That's really, really good. And Louisville fans could bitch about it and say, well, we only shot 18 free throws. You had twice as many free throws. Well, you're out there jacking threes. Like, you're not driving the paint to get fouled. So what do you expect? But, yeah, great job by Arkansas getting to the foul line. Field goal percentage left a little bit to be desired there, 41.8. You want to be higher than that. Low volume threes again, 6 of 18. Yeah, okay. 14-10 assist to turnover ratio is all right. Like, you would like to see more assists, but only 10 turnovers against a top 10 team in the country, I think is really, really solid. But here's the thing. Where did Arkansas carve out their niche? It was getting to the free throw line, but and I promise you, this is I'm not speaking gibberish here. I'm not misquoting. Arkansas had 18 offensive rebounds in 27 second chance points. Let me repeat that. The Arkansas Razorbacks basketball team and everything we know about them, they got 18 offensive boards and 27 second chance points. That is something we've been waiting to see from this group all year. It's been something we've been waiting to see from an Arkansas basketball team for years. They're always so athletic and long, big. There's no reason why they don't get on the glass more, and they absolutely dominated the backboards. Hell of a job. And they wound up out-rebounding Louisville by 10. I just didn't necessarily expect that to happen. Now you've seen that they're capable of it, and that's good. That's a good thing. And here's the other thing that this is very notable. I really like this, is Arkansas only had 8 fast break points in this game. We know they're third in the country in fast break points, averaging upwards of 25 per game. You only got 8. So Louisville did a pretty nice job of taking away those easy transition opportunities for Arkansas. But what this means is that our Razorbacks scored nearly 90 points on a top 10 team through their half-court offense, which has obviously been the problem area so far. I'll take it. I'll take it for sure. And that includes winning time, where it's been a struggle for Arkansas. If you think about, the last few minutes of that Duke game, I'll never forget. As you guys look on your screen there, you see those current trends. And after that Duke game, it was Arkansas field goals 0 of last 5 to close the game, the final 3 minutes. They weren't getting quality looks. They weren't making shots. And in this one, they did. They did exactly what they needed to do. A lot of that involved Acuff getting downhill and getting some big baskets there late. You made your free throws there down the stretch of the game. Malik Ewan aside there at the very end. But impressive stuff from the Razorbacks. And room to continue growing. Defense for Arkansas, I'm going A. I'm going A for the Razorbacks defensively. Curse, they gave up 80 points. Yeah, they did. But a reminder, Louisville entered this game averaging 96. Top 5 scoring offense in the country. So you held them, 15, 16 points below their season average. Held them to 41.4% shooting overall. This is one of the nation's most efficient offenses. And we said in the pregame, if Arkansas was able to hold Louisville to single-digit made threes, they averaged 13.3 makes per game coming in, that I would guarantee a Razorback win. You look up at the end of the day, Louisville goes 8 of 37. So a team that's, just shooting the absolute cover off of it, you hold them to 21.6% from 3 and 5 fewer makes than they average on the season. That's a great job, man. Not a lot of blown assignments, not a lot of clean looks. I felt like Arkansas was contesting a lot. Kept them off of the offensive glass. They played hard, a lot of effort. The communication was better. The first half was an A++. I mean, they held Louisville to 29 points in the first half. That's hard to do. Not many teams are going to do that to that Louisville bunch this season. So, and then again, you look at that current trends, what do you see? Louisville field goals, 1 of their last 8 to close the game. So things got a little bit tight there, and Arkansas buckled down, and they got several stops when they needed them. Because there was a stretch there in the second half where Louisville was really starting to find a rhythm, and they were knocking down some threes. Brown was able to get downhill and get to the rim. They were getting some switches that they like, scoring on pick and roll a little bit. They were starting to get into a flow, which they can do because they're very potent. But when Arkansas needed to lock down, they locked down. You love to see it. If you're locked down, but you don't want to be locked down anymore, maybe you should consider calling Hickey and Hull Law. They can help you out because those divorce and custody cases are far too important to try and face alone. You don't want to do it. Let Hickey and Hull Law provide you with the persistent and diligent representation to help guide you through the entire process, because they've handled thousands of family law cases and they've experienced nearly every scenario that may come up. They're going to push the case forward for their clients, advocating for them in a diligent and consistent manner from start to finish. They know that every case they take is important, and they strive to give each one the utmost time and care that it deserves. Hickey and Hull Law has offices all over the state of Arkansas, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Little Rock, and Mena. You can call them today at 479-434-2414, or you can check out their website. Visit hickeyandhull.com or scan the QR code right there on your screen. It's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. Okay. Player grades. And I'll leave this up for now if you guys want to continue to look at it a little bit. There were some guys who didn't play great in this game for Arkansas, but frankly, I refuse to give anyone a bad grade after a win like that. So understand that we are on a happy curve tonight when it comes to these grades. How could we not be? Massive win, feel good win. Last thing these dudes need is some chotch bag like me coming up here and being like, you get a D for... No. You guys were awesome. So everybody gets A's and B's. But we'll talk specifics. And you can read between the lines on certain things if you want to. Tonight's MVP, our A-plus performer. There's probably three, I think, really good options, really viable options in this game. But I have actually settled in on Malik Ewan. I think what you got from Malik Ewan tonight, you should be able to get most every game. Like, that should be Malik Ewan consistently. It's the type of player I thought he was going to be coming into this. It's the type of player he was for Florida State. I understand they were a bad team, but he was highly impactful, and he's fully capable of delivering performances like this. He owns Louisville. 17 the first time he played him last year, 19-9 the second time. Nearly a double-double in this game. 12 points, 9 rebounds. And I love that Cal showed him his tape of owning Louisville last year. Clipped up a bunch of his game film from Florida State and sent it to him. Said, watch it tonight, watch it tomorrow, watch it before the game, and this is the guy that I want you to be. And then he went out there and was that guy. And not only was he impactful, what stood out the most to me is Malik Ewan went out there and he played harder than Louisville's bigs did. And he kicked their butts again. It's one thing to, maybe be more skilled than the guy that you're going up against and, getting some buckets or whatever, or, balls falling off the rim into your hands, whatever. It's another to outwork them and have the hustle plays that Malik Ewan did out there. He was playing hard as hell, and he was doing it in key moments. Did any of you see Malik Ewan jumping a passing lane and getting a deflection off of a guy and forcing a turnover on your script? I didn't. I didn't have that. Did you see him ripping balls out of the hands of Louisville players? Scrapping in there? Grabbing 7 offensive rebounds? That was really fun to watch. Kudos to Malik Ewan, man. He played his tail off. It meant something to him. Got after it in a big moment there. And look, at the end of the day, he only played 17 minutes, had 12 and 9 in 17 minutes. So he's really starting to come on for Arkansas. Nice bucket in there. Little push shot. It's almost like that Justin Smith type of move. Knock down one of those and look good. Fighting for balls in there. Trying to tip one in and getting fouled. He was 6 of 8 from the free throw line. He was 6 of 6, and he missed a couple there at the very end. But there's just something about when he is out there on the floor, Arkansas is better offensively. He's such a threat as a playmaker. You have to pay attention to him. You can't sag off of him. Great passer and facilitator out of that spot, it just makes you infinitely more difficult to guard. So that was really good. Hell of a performance. His best performance as a Razorback. I don't care what he did against Jackson State. Having this kind of game against a top 10 team, really good work by Malik Ewan. I'm so happy for him because it was rough. And it's not anyone who was criticizing what we saw the first few games of the year out of Malik Ewan. You weren't misplaced in the way that you felt. There were lapses in effort. It did look like he didn't care. And those are things that Cal called out publicly. So nobody was off base thinking that. Now, kicking him to the curb or maybe making him public enemy number 1 or whatever, that was probably a bridge too far because it was too early in the season to do that. The last 3 games, he's been really good for Arkansas. Needs to continue that. If he does, I think that it alters the trajectory and the ceiling, frankly, of this basketball team. So good on him. He's our MVP. There are 2 other guys who could have very easily gotten this. I'm going to give them both A's, though. Trevin Brazile. I mean, did he look like a lottery pick to you guys in the first half? He did to me. 17 of his 21 points in the first half. He hit 3 more threes in this basketball game. He was 3 or 4 from beyond the arc. He's getting real comfortable in that corner pocket, which I like. In fact, I want to check real quick because I think he was like 2 of 13 from 3. And then I know he's made 5 over the course of the last 2 games here. I just want to see, where's he at now for the season? 7 of 20, 35%. So he is, and that's in 7 games. So he's tracking about where he has been his entire career. You know, roughly a 3 made per game and 35-ish%. But I like the volume there. I hope he continues to shoot them. Cool. Yeah, and you know, he did get banged on. Happens, you know, but I feel like he did a good job of getting his lick back. He had that lob finish, which was nice. Blocked through that 7-footer at the rim. You get dunked on by the point guard, but you meet the big fella at the rim. So that's a good way to redeem yourself right there. Aggressive off the bounce. He did some really good things in there. I am impressed with Trevin. He's getting more and more comfortable putting it on the deck and doing something with it. You know, for his first couple years at Arkansas, he would just take 2 dribbles middle, and he was bagless Brazile in there. He had nothing for you, and he'd just pick it up, kick it out, whatever. There's nothing to it. But now he's a little bit more comfortable with it, and he can, you know, spin back, or he can continue to get to the rim. He's a little bit stronger and able to finish in there. So good on TB. 8 of 11 from the field, so highly efficient. 5 boards. I'm actually surprised he didn't get more rebounds than that, but he did have a couple steals, including a big one there late in the game. So between that big block that he had and one of those steals, some super impactful defensive plays as well. Played 32 minutes. Good job, TB. He gets an A. Darius Acuff, I'm also going to give an A, although it's crazy because there were some things about his game where you're like, gosh, dude. He was a little bit frustrating, but man, he is just such a playmaker. 17 points, he had to work for him, right? Like one reason to give him an A-. I'm not going to give him an A, but he was 6 of 18 from the field. That's it's got to be better than that. 0 of 4 from 3. You could just tell it was just someone was a little bit off with that tonight compared to other games. Most of the time when he lets one fly, I feel like it's going in. Did not feel that way about any of his 3-point attempts tonight. 5 of 7 from the free throw line. He missed a couple up there. So the shot wasn't falling like it normally would. And it's not that he stopped shooting them, because he didn't. He took 18 shots. It's 7 more than anybody else on the team. But he did make a more concerted effort to start diming guys. And he had 10 assists. That's a career high. 17 and 10. It's hard to scoff at that in a game like this with the matchup that he had. So that was impressive. He made some crazy passes. Like his whip out pass from the baseline to DJ was a thing of beauty. He had a crazy play. I remember he drove, spun in the lane, and I have no idea how he even had the awareness to know that Trevin was cutting, but just lobbed it up there, perfectly placed for a dunk. He had a couple like that. So some really high-level passes. 34 NBA scouts, by the way, who were at the game. And I guarantee you they walked out of there talking about Darius Acuff getting 10 assists and how that looked. Now, he did have 4 turnovers, and some of them were just like live ball, ugly ones. He got his pocket picked by Kason Pryor when he blitzed the ball screen. He went down there and dunked one. It's like, all right, what are we doing here? He just fell down randomly one time for another one. It had that 10-second call that was BS. But here's the thing, though. Maybe not the most efficient night at the office for him. From a, hey, 10 assists, great. 4 turnovers, not so great. Hey, 17 points, good. Shooting 33% from the field, maybe not. But in crunch time, what did Arkansas do? They put the rock in Darius Acuff's hands, And they said, guess what? You can't guard him. And he got to his spots and he made plays and he made big buckets. And he was a big part of why Arkansas was able to close that game out. So nice work by Acuff. He's having a phenomenal year. Neither he nor Michael Brown Jr. were overly efficient in terms of shots falling, but both of them showed flashes of why they're, the two best freshman point guards in the country. So Malik Thomas, for different reasons, I'll give him an A also. He finished with 17 points. Quiet. You guys feel like it was a little bit quiet? I wish I could score a quiet 17 against Louisville, but I thought actually that Pat Kelsey and his team had a really good game plan for Leak. They did a really good job defending him. They got physical with him. I felt like they were making a point of extending out on him, forcing him to floor it, saying, hey, we're not going to give you those, let you get on a heater from three. We're going to make the freshman put it on the floor and beat us in the paint, which he did. Like the first half, he wasn't forcing up a bunch of tough contested jumpers. If they were overplaying him, he was driving by and he was getting in the lane, absorbing some contact, getting to the free throw line. And he got to the line 9 times. He made 8 of them. So I thought that was solid. That's a good sign of maturity and progression from League. Didn't let it frustrate him. Just adjusted. Figure out how the defense is playing you and take it from there. Had some big baskets at times. I thought when Louisville was making its run, he had a really tough mid-range jumper off a baseline inbounds play that I think they had cut it to 6 maybe, and you felt like they had some momentum. And Leak was able to knock down that shot. That was a big one for Arkansas there. He had a runner a little bit later in the game that gave you a little bit more breathing room. So, yeah, a quiet 17, but fairly efficient, Only 1 of 4 from 3, but it's okay. Mixed his 5 rebounds in there. Didn't turn it over. I thought he was pretty good on the defensive end. Like, you didn't see the freshman giving up a bunch of wide open looks or anything like that. So I'm still waiting for a pop-off game from him in one of these big ones. It's coming soon. He might give it to Texas Tech next weekend. We'll see. Billy Richmond, I'll give him a B+ for this game. His transition dunk that he had in the first half was a Showtime highlight. It was at a moment where Arkansas just kind of needed to get to the half and have this big cushion. They were just rushing stuff offensively and turnovers in transition and just pushing the pace. It was a little bit frenetic and they looked sloppy. And the next thing I know, Billy's out. He gets a rebound. He's just taking off in transition. And I'm just screaming. I literally screamed out loud, chill out. And then he goes down there and has that crazy dunk. And I was like, all right, fine. Well, if you're going to do that. But, he also had an attempted dunk that would have been poster of the year worthy. I remember that one. He wound up getting fouled. He went up there and made his free throws. Did he miss a free throw? No, 6 of 6 at the line for Billy the Kid there. 4 rebounds, a couple assists. He did have a couple turnovers. Like he got a tech. Was it kind of lame? It was like the offsetting thing. Yeah. Fouled a 3-point shooter. Did he though? Because on replay, it was one of the worst phantom calls I've ever seen on a guy getting called for fouling a 3-point shooter. I couldn't believe it. The only thing I can really remember that I was kind of shaking my head at for sure was that turnover he had in the final minutes. Like, you broke the press and you can either finish one or drop it off and it's a dunk, and it's just kind of the final nail in the coffin for Louisville. And he got caught in no man's land and traveled. It's like, you can't have that turnover there. But beats the hell out of the 5 or however many it was he had against Duke. But Billy was good. Carter Knox. Remember what I said. I'm not giving anyone bad grades after a game like this. Like I'm not giving anybody below the B level there. So I'll give Carter a B. I don't know about y'all. To me, it really felt like we were about to get good Carter early on. Like he came out flying all over the place, attacking the glass, which that's usually a really good indicator of what you're going to get out of Carter Knox on a night. He had 5 quick points, but then that was it. 2 of 9 from the field. He finished. He seems like he's really struggling to even get shots off at the rim. He gets his shot blocked quite a bit in there, and he's not getting to the free throw line like he had been before. And I've noticed this because he's playing so far below the rim in traffic. Like you get him out in transition, he's got like in-game windmills and stuff this year. I'm not saying he's not an athletic player, but for whatever reason, very much below the rim in guarded paint situations. I don't know if the toe's still bugging him, but I actually think it might be more of a balance thing when he gets in there and it's taking a little bit of contact, but he hasn't been that explosive off 2 feet in traffic. So yeah, again, 5 early points, and then how many shots in a row did he miss? Or good jumper, missed jumper, good jumper. Yeah, the 16-15 mark in the first half. So before the first media timeout is when he had made his final shot of the game. But he did some good stuff in there too now. Big defensive play on a steal. I remember a block that he got that was pretty impressive. So he did some good things in there. And even the rebounds he didn't get, because he finished the game with 5 rebounds, a couple offensive boards. Even some of the ones he didn't get, he wound up making it a 50-50 with a Louisville player, and they just had to work for it. Or maybe then he got bobbled or tipped out or out of bounds or whatever, to where he doesn't get credit for the rebound, but you get the ball back. He had a lot of that. I guess my point is, what I appreciated about Carter in this game is, the shots weren't falling after the first couple minutes there, but his energy levels didn't drop off. His body language didn't suck. He was playing hard, and he was still really impacting things on the glass and competing defensively. And that's what you got to have. It's kind of like we said, those are the non-negotiables. Those are the things that you can control. So control them. And then the other stuff is going to come. The points are going to come. The scoring will come. The shots will start to fall. Didn't necessarily in this game, but I do think he was better against Louisville than he was against Duke. Certainly more impactful. DJ Wagner, I'll give him the same grade there of a B. Basically everything that I just said about Carter, except DJ's 5-point run was early in the second half, right? I like the way that he played in there. He was engaged defensively. I thought he showed some toughness. He was super aggressive when Acuff came out, and I thought he did a really good job of turning the corner and getting middle and getting downhill. My man just can't, for the life of him, make a layup. You got to finish. Carter, 2 of 9 from the field. DJ, 2 of 8 from the field. You combine to go 4 of 17 from the field, fellas. Y'all got to make some shots, man. You both played about 20 minutes apiece, and getting up 8-9 shots in 20 minutes, you can't be upset with that. You just got to make some. Looks a lot different if you're, 5 of 9 and 4 of 8. All of a sudden you're both in double figures and impactful on defense. And maybe if you made a couple more shots, you'd have played more minutes. You know what I mean? So that's all it was in this game. I didn't see like a lack of effort or a lack of focus. Sometimes that happens with Carter, or he's getting burned on a bunch of stuff defensively. No, I didn't say that at all. I thought they were both locked in and just weren't getting the roles in this particular game. So, Nick Pringle, B-, I guess, for Nick. So if we weren't on the curve like we are for winning this game, like we would probably drop Carter and DJ a letter grade or whatever, right? The same could be said for Nick. But I thought that there were just moments where, hell, he was switching on to Michael Brown. I don't know why they kept doing that, but there were times there where he held his own, and other times where it got him in scramble mode, or you've got one of your guards switched onto their big and just put you in a tough spot. I'm not saying that's Pringle's fault. That's schematics. That's defensive philosophy type of stuff there. But I feel like he spent way too much time defending the perimeter, and you need him under the rim, being a physical presence, being a deterrent, being a rebounder, which he's just not right now. But that being said, honestly, I just feel like Arkansas was substantially better in this game with Malik Ewan on the floor and Nick off of it. And that has not been the case at all times this year. So, matchups, styles make fights, whatever. But I'm wondering if there's something up with Pringle. I keep seeing him wearing that heating pad for his back when he comes out of the games. So I wonder if he's having some back spasms or something like that. I know he missed a little bit of time in the preseason with back spasms. Could that be flaring up? Could it be bothering him? Because he's not really showing the athleticism that we know that he has. Not rebounding by any means the way that we know he's capable of. The physicality, not quite what we know it could be. There's some effort things the last couple games that just seem very, very uncharacteristic based on everything we know about Nick Pringle from his 6 years of college basketball, right? Like his motor and his toughness and his willingness to get in there and get dirty with it, that's never been in question. And I don't think it is now. He's got a great attitude, hell of a teammate. You guys heard him speak and all the things that he talks about. I wonder if he's a little banged up. Like, could there be something there that's slowing him down some? Just my theory, my hypothesis. At any rate, that's it, I guess. Yeah. Did we get through everybody? A-Cuff, yes. Trevin Knox, DJ Pringle, Leak, Ewan, Billy. Yeah, we did. No Isaiah Sealy in this game tonight, and that's all right. Who do y'all think won? I mean, Arkansas won the game. Who do you think won the point guard battle? A-Cuff, Michael Brown. A-Cuff goes for 17 and 10. He was 6 of 18 from the floor. He had 4 turnovers. Michael Brown had 22. He was 7 of 19, so he wasn't any more efficient. Michael Brown went 2 of 13 from 3. He was getting them up there. He didn't give a damn. He was letting them fly. He had a run there where he was getting downhill and getting to the rim. His deceleration, his little hezzy, tough to guard. He's an unorthodox player, and then he'll explode and dunk on you like he did Trevin. I thought he looked good. He only had 3 assists in this game. And then in winning time, there was a while there where Brown and A-Cuff were kind of trading buckets back and forth down the stretch. It was really a hell of a lot of fun. And neither one of them were overly efficient, but both of them they're both going to have great years. So I thought Arkansas did a really good job on Ryan Conwell. He talked about him. He came into the game averaging 20 and shooting, 46% from 3, which is crazy. Only 3 of 12 in this game, 4 of 16 overall. Arkansas locked him up and fouled him out and turned him over 5 times. Heck of a job by the Hogs on him. It's a good player. McNeely. It's interesting. One of the things about him we said was you got to make these guys do something they're not comfortable with. Like make McNeely put it on the floor. He's only had 8 shots all season that were not threes. Well, he had 3 more in this game. Got off 5 threes. He didn't get off many clean looks. The only one that he made was like that fadeaway leg kick 25-footer late in the game that cut it to 5. But you live with that, in my opinion. So, yeah. Nice work. Nice work for the Razorbacks. It's pretty late. I want to see. I'm just going to go through the metrics real quick and see what is updated, what hasn't. I think Arkansas was 36th or 37th at KenPom coming into the day. Moved up to 30. Okay. I want to say they should be higher. But the problem is you've got you still got the preseason stuff that's baked in here. And it's starting to get fizzled out a little bit, but not yet. It's going to take another few weeks for that to happen. Because if you really look at this, like, I know we always point to, actually, I won't even use them first. Florida, for example, at 5 and 3. They have not looked good. Right? Like, lost to Tennessee. Their backcourt's a mess. They're shooting at sub 30% from 3 on the season. They got a lot of stuff going on there. They're still at 12. There's no way. Analytically, anything that they are, the 12th best team in the country. Kentucky, who I was going to bring up first, but I didn't. But same deal. Like, they're 5 and 3. 2 very non-competitive losses against really good teams, and they lost at home to a North Carolina team that's pretty mid. Their 5 wins are all Q4 wins, and they're at 15 in KenPom. How? Well, the 23rd offensive efficiency in the country. You're telling me that their offense is 17 spots higher than Arkansas? They didn't score for like an hour of real time against North Carolina. Like what are we talking about here? So it's still hard to take too much into consideration with this right now. And usually, though, by the time you get to SEC play, and then certainly once you're a couple weekends into it, KenPom is really, really solid. I think it's the most accurate. It just takes some time for everything to get caught up there. So, but a 6-7 spot jump for Arkansas in Ken Palm. Let me look at Torvik real quick. We like them. They've got Arkansas up at 20. And they were borderline top 25 going into the game, but that's nice. That feels fair. I want to see if BPI updated. Remember, Arkansas was so low. Were they like 40 something to start the year? And then they started moving up, and I think they were 35 or 36 going into the game. I don't know if that's updated yet or not. I'm gonna guess not. Yeah, 35th is where they have them. I don't. Yeah, I don't think that's updated yet. Yeah, it's still got them as 5-2, so that'll happen a little bit later here today, I guess. What else? I guess I could check the net rankings. That's usually not until about 6 o'clock the next morning. Let's see here. What up? Men's basketball. Where are you? There you are. Yeah, no, nothing there. And so going into the game, Louisville was 10th in the net. Arkansas is still holding steady at 45. So by the time you guys watch this, the net will have updated. So let me do my prediction right here as we kind of wrap things up. Arkansas is at 45. And they will have just picked up a Q1A win. So that's huge. They'll have that in their pocket. Strength of schedule is going to take a big bump. I'm going to say, yeah, NC State's going to drop because they lost. SMU got smacked. They're going down. You're going to pass Colorado. You're going to pass Tulsa. Tulsa? Virginia got a big win, so that's nice for them. I'm going to say Arkansas jumps up to 30. I don't give them too much benefit of the doubt, Curtis. 38 in the net. That's where I'm going to predict them to be when you guys wake up and watch this in the morning. Okay. I guess I'm done. I guess I could have stopped recording after we finished doing the grades and just done this off the air, but I don't know. I felt like yapping for a minute. Don't mind me. Where is Fresno State? Fresno State's coming up on Saturday. We'll obviously get previewed for them and everything over the course of the next couple of days. That's in North Little Rock, which those games are always fun, man, because it doesn't matter who you play. They'll get 14,000 people in there, and it'll be loud. And the environments are always a lot of fun in there. That's one of the better teams that's come in there in a while. I mean, it's a Mountain West school, so that's one of the better mid-major leagues. That's a Fresno State team that won 6 total games all year last. They went 6-26 last year. That's gross, but they're 6-3 this year. So already have matched their win total from a year ago. And they have literally not played anyone, but I think that counts for something. They're at 167 in the net, so kind of middle of the pack type of team in the country. So, we'll see. Should be fun. I think that'll count as a home game according to the net, not a neutral. We could debate about that all day. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit here on one of the shows the next couple of days. But anyway, I'm yapping. I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in as always. Subscribe to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and find us wherever you listen to your podcast. Pod the Palace can be found on Apple, Spotify, anywhere that you listen. We can be found there, and we can be found right back here tomorrow morning, bright and early. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas and the Pod the Palace. You guys have a good rest of your day. See you in the morning.